So SA6 Ultra going on sale right now as we speak. It is a limited edition, 300 piece available only. If you want the quick and dirty review, it is the cheapest S tier ever. And I don't put it there lightly, it deserves to be there. So yes, if you want to go buy one right now and come back and watch the video for the full description. And you know, if you hate the description, you can always cancel your order. Win-win. Hey friends, Tim here, welcome back to another video on Guess Audio, and today we have the SA6 Ultra review in comparison with the original SA6 and also some IEMs that sound similar to it at a much more expensive price tag. Now let's do this video a little bit more unconventionally than the other reviews that we've done and start with the SA6 first and explain what's good about it and what needed to be fixed. Now the SA6 original, really well-tuned IEM, mid-forward with good sense of treble extension in the present region, you can say, where the vocal extension lives and all that. So vocals sound lively, they're forward. But the biggest issue with the SA6 comes in the air region. It has basically very little air. So the sense of stage, the head stage, and the little micro details are almost lost on the original SA6. And to be honest, that was kind of the only major issue that the SA6 had. The tuning was really pleasant. A lot of people enjoyed it. I myself really enjoyed it. The only problem was it just lacks the micro details. It just lacks the sense of head stage and sound stage, which in the SA6 Ultra, all of those issues and a lot of these smaller issues are not just remedied, but made better, fixed in general. It just got improved across the board. The bass regions of the SA6 and the SA6 Ultra remains fairly similar. The SA6 Ultra has just a touch less bass, but really no differences at the end of the day. The mid-range is where you start to see quite a big change. The SA6 has a upper mids forward signature, which is great. It sounds awesome, but it does kind of kill a little bit of sense of stage in comparison to how much treble that it has, which again, it doesn't have all too much. The SA6 Ultra kind of flattens that mid-range response, which is something that you'll find in IEMs such as the Andromeda 2020, the Unique Melody Mest Mark 1, the QDC Anole VX, and also the Gemini. This kind of flatter, more tame mid-range response followed by an emphasis in the extension region, the 6 to 10K region, really helps with the sense of stage that all of these IEMs share. And all these IEMs have this, what a lot of people in the community call the holographic imaging, right? The sense of head stage that feels wider than in your head. Of course, this is just the general explanation. You can't actually get sound outside of your head in an IEM, but if you tune an IEM in this way, you get this sense of air that is above where the vocals are singing, and that's what gives you the wide head stage feeling that a lot of people enjoy from, again, those IEM, the Andromeda 2020. You guys all know it is hailed to be the soundstage or head stage king. The Anole VX, detailed king, head stage king. All of those IEMs, Mest Mark 1, have the same descriptor and same reason why people love it. And on the SA6 Ultra, they managed to recreate that sensation in an IEM that is $600. The other issue that was fixed is in the air region. While the original SA6 has really little air and not a lot of micro details, the SA6 Ultra has all that. It has extra sense of air in the air region, and also the micro details, the cymbal hits, all those comes across more crispy than on the SA6. So not only is the SA6 Ultra tuned better with better head stage and grander presentation, it also has better details in general. So yes, at the end of the day, you could say that the SA6 Ultra is a complete 100% upgrade across the board to the original SA6. Basically, there's no reason to buy the original SA6. I can't wholeheartedly recommend that IEM anymore that the SA6 Ultra exists. Well, at least for the 300 people who can grab this. If not, the SA6 original is still awesome. Yeah, it's still great. I mean, doesn't mean that it's bad now that there's a better limited edition version. It's still good. It's just that if you have the chance to grab this, you would grab this over that for a similar price. Let's bring up my detail scale right here and place the two SA6, right? The original SA6 lands right around behind the timeless, just right around that area. It's not that resolving for an IEM at 560. Now, the new SA6 Ultra lands right in between the timeless and the Anole VX. A huge step up in resolution and staging in general. Now let's get into the pros and cons of this kind of signature, because there's always a con to every signature, right? So the pros of this one, like I said again, it gives you a sense of head stage that is wider than your average IEM. The other pro of it is that the mid-range is so clean, clear, and displayed just the most transparently as possible. If you want nuances, details in your mid-range, this style of tuning gives it to you the best. There's no highlight or no emphasis in the upper mid-range, or nor is it de-emphasized either. It's just even and in front of you, displayed in, again, as much details as it possibly can display. It's a very analytical type of tuning, if you will. Now, the SA6 Ultra kind of balanced the analytical and musical side of the tuning very well, while, for example, the Anole VX or the Andromeda 2020, those tend to be more treble heavy, so it does come across a little bit more extra analytical, extra sharp, if you will, than on the SA6 Ultra. The SA6 Ultra is a little bit smoother. The trade-off to having a smoother signature, of course, is that it's not going to be as resolving as the Andromeda or the Anole VX, but it is much easier to listen to and a lot more enjoyable for more people than those two IEMs. The bass area is probably the most nitpicky of the area. All of these IEMs that I mentioned, the SA6 Ultra, the Anole VX, the Andromeda 2020, the Unique Melody Mest Mark 1, all of them don't do bass quite as satisfyingly as a lot of people, or especially bass heads, would want. So no, this is not a bass head IEM. All of these IEMs that I just talked about have not a weak feeling bass, but really not a full and slamming feeling bass. You do get bass, yes, but it's not, I would say, lush or textured like a lot of people who love bass would want, and that's probably the biggest nitpick of this kind of signature. The treble area, already explained it, airy, a lot of micro nuances, well extended yet smooth. So mid-range, treble area, amazing. Bass, okay. Oh, how can I forget? There's a tuning switch for the SA6 Ultra, same with the original SA6, and it does bass boosting. Yeah, bass boosting. So if you want more bass, if you think the bass on the stock tuning is a little bit too low energy, too dry, there's bass boost. It bumps up the bass a little bit, not too much, but it does remedy a little bit of the bass issues. Still not a bass head IEM though. Alright, that is it for the review of the SA6 Ultra. In summary, this thing gets the biggest 2 green thumbs up from me. It is an IEM that, to be honest, I've been waiting for a very long time. As you guys may know, Anole VX is one of my most favorite IEMs of all time. I also love the Andromeda 2020. I love the Mest Mark 1 way more than the Mest Mark 2. So when this came out and it finally achieves this kind of tuning that I love so much in the more expensive set, while at the same time bumping up the details enough to almost match those guys as well, it is the SA6 that I always wanted. I owned the original SA6. It always disappoints me in those things I talk about in the beginning of the video, and the SA6 Ultra just not only fixes that, but just it just made the SA6 so much better. And again, it's been the IEM that I've been waiting for for a long time. So yes, great IEM, the cheapest S tier in my ranking list.